Welcome to another edition of Brugler's Draft Board. Dane, let's take a look at another scenario here, probably the most popular one in the mock draft circuit. That would be the Jets going offensive tackle at 11. And we know about the big four, but if you were Joe Douglas and all four guys were on the board at 11, who would you pick for the Jets and why?
Personally, I would go with Jedrick Wills from Alabama. I think he's a great fit. He's a mauler in the run game, uses that natural strength, the heavy hands, where he can just steamroll whatever's in his way. And then in pass protection, he has the hip flexibility, the feet. He can hold his own. He played in 39 games at Alabama the last 3 years, gave up 1 sack. So this is a guy with a lot of ability. He's known more as a run blocker, but he also has the movement skills where he can hold up in pass protection. I think when you look at it, the biggest question might be, can he play on the left side? Dating back to high school, he's been a right tackle only. And so when you look at it in Alabama's scheme, it's important to note that he was protecting to his blind side. It's not like they had to pigeonhole him only on the right side because that's only where he could play. They wanted him in that scheme with Tua being a lefty. They wanted him at right tackle to help there. So it's a little bit of a projection if you're going to put him at left tackle, but all the talent that he has, it suggests he should be able to make that move. I think he's the best of the group, and I would have no problem projecting him at left tackle and feeling strongly that he could fill that spot at left tackle just fine.
So let me ask you this. If he were, in fact, a day one starting right tackle for the Jets in this scenario, do you think the 11th pick is too rich for a right tackle, or do you think, you know what, he's the best offensive lineman, the way the game's going, it doesn't really matter what position you play up front as long as you're a good player?
100%. People get too caught up in the left tackle, right tackle thing. A lot of defenses are going to put their best pass rusher against the right tackle. They're looking for matchups. So that, you have to have your two tackles be very good pass protectors. Things are different in today's NFL. And so when Von Miller is going up against your right tackle, you can't really make that switch in game. Your left tackle is going to stay there. Your right tackle is going to stay there. You need someone who can hold up. So with a guy like Jedrick Wills, I think you feel really comfortable with what he can do at right tackle. But again, I would have no problem moving him to the left side and feeling very confident he could hold that down and get better as time goes on.
Okay, so in this hypothetical scenario, Jets address tackle in round 1, and then very popular opinion here, going receiver in round 2. So who are some guys that you think could be on the board at 48, and who makes sense for the Jets?
I'm looking at Laviska Shenault. I think he's one of the most talented receivers in this draft. And this could be, the Titans last year got a really good second-round value in A.J. Brown. This could be the Jets' version of that. In the second round. He's at his best with the ball in his hands. He can make defenders miss. He accelerates really well, so it throws off pursuit angles in coverage. I think he has a physicality where he can break tackles. That's kind of the double-edged sword with him, though. That physicality as a ball carrier, it also leads to more punishment on his body, and that's one of the reasons why he could be available for the Jets in round 2 is just the durability question. So if he can mature as a route runner and stay healthy, Shenault is going to end up being a steal in the second round due to the versatile package of skills that he offers, the natural instincts when the ball is in his hands. I'm a big fan of Laviska Shenault, and I think that would be a great fit in round 2 for the Jets.
Dane, so if the Jets go tackle and then receiver in rounds 1 and 2, if you were to probably define the Jets' 4 needs entering this offseason, you'd say tackle, receiver, edge, cornerback. So if the Jets decide to address the defensive side of the ball in round 3, they have 2 picks in the 3rd round. Where would you go?
Yeah, and I think you look at the corner position, and a guy that really stands out for me in that 3rd round range, Amik Robertson from Louisiana Tech. He might be the poster prospect for why you don't judge a book by its cover. Because just looking at him standing there on the sidelines, not very impressive. He's 5'8", $187. It doesn't look like much, but the ball skills, the instincts, they're elite. And in 3 years at La Tech, ridiculous ball production. 48 passes defended, 14 interceptions, and 3 of those he returned for touchdowns. And his coaches, they speak really highly of his football character. They call him an igniter on the field and off the field and what he does for that team. The size, I get it. It's going to worry you at times. He's going to maybe give up a little bit too much spacing because he loves to bait throws, try to make plays. But the ball production, I think it's going to translate to the pro game, and he can tackle. So you plug him inside, he can compete with Brian Poole. You let him compete on the outside. He's going to add immediate depth to your cornerback depth chart. So love that fit. If you decide to go look more towards the trenches, look for an edge rusher. In the third round, Bradley Anai, I think, is really interesting. A guy that did not test overly well at the combine. Not that it was very surprising. He wins with his first step. He wins with his hands. He's got a lot of savvy to him. There's a lot to like about him as an edge rusher. And again, talking about third round, he's going to have his warts. There's going to be things that you worry about with him. But the production that he put up at Utah, he is just a menace off the edge. So third round range, that's great value for him.
So just to recap here, Jedrick Wills at 11, Laviska Shenault at 48, and then the Jets double down on defense with Amik Robertson and Bradley Anai in the third round. And that was another edition of Brugler's Draft Board. Dane, thanks a lot, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, thanks, Ethan.